Hi, my name is David Procyshyn from Do Yoga With Me. Welcome to video 2 in our 3-part series on an introduction to yoga for absolute beginners. In our first class, I showed you how to sit in Sukhasana or cross-legged position, as well as Dandasana or staff pose. Today, another common seated position is Virasana or hero pose. And a lot of people find this pose a little bit more challenging, especially if you have tighter ankles or knees. And I'm going to show you how to access this pose comfortably while still getting the benefits and being able to add some stretching too. Enjoy the class. We're going to make our way to a pose called Virasana or hero pose. And before that, we're going to make a bolster from some blankets to prepare ourselves for this. So I want you to take what blankets you have. Best case scenario, you have one really thick one, or you have a couple that aren't so thick that you stack one on top of each other. Mine is option 2. So I'm going to stack these, one on top of the other, and then you want to roll from one end to the other. And the thicker you have the blankets before you roll them, obviously the thicker the bolster is going to be. If you have tight knees and ankles, then you'll maybe want to stack 3 blankets. Okay? So then you roll it tight, so you want to start with a tight roll right from the beginning, and then roll from one end to the other, and then you have your homemade bolster. You don't have to go and spend $70 or $100 at the store. So there's your bolster. Now we're going to try Virasana. So if you're not quite ready yet, go ahead and pause the video until you have your bolster made. When you're ready, move all of your props out of the way. Come onto your hands and knees. And you'll want your props to be within reach. So if you have blocks or pillows, have them within reach, and then take that bolster and slide it between your knees all the way back so it's between your ankles. And then have your toes pointed back and just check how much support the bolster gives you when you sit on it. Is that enough for you? Do the ankles hurt? Do the knees hurt? Do they feel uncomfortable enough that it's going to be hard to sit like this for a minute? Okay, if that is the case for you, come forward. I have some blocks with me here, so I can slip a block underneath my bum. You can do that with a pillow, or you can do that with another folded blanket and test it out again. Now, the most important thing here is that you want to be in a position where, and this pretty much applies to almost everything you do in yoga. You want to be in a position where you feel a gentle stretch, maybe even a strong stretch, but you don't want it to be so uncomfortable that you find yourself starting to breathe quickly or holding your breath or getting really unhappy. Okay, so I'm going to point out how you want your ankles to be, because we don't want to start moving into the tendencies that we already have that are potentially causing problems in our joints. So let's step onto our hands again. Now I want you to look down the line from your knee to your ankle, and I want you to make it straight so that it goes right through the center of the calf, through the heel, and right to the center of your toes. And what tends to happen, if you didn't really understand that, what tends to happen is the heels fall out and the toes point in. So why don't we do the opposite? Let's pull the heels in like you're squeezing in towards each other, and then separate the toes. Now, this is going to give your feet a little bit of a different stretch. And most people tend to do the opposite, heels out, toes in. So for most of you, this is going to feel, it's going to give you a strong sensation. So let's try that. Sit back, then have a look back and notice calf, heel, center toe. That's exactly what you want. You might feel a little bit tighter. If you need that, then prop yourself up higher, okay? And eventually, so if you need to pause the video here to find a comfortable position, go ahead and do that, and then join us again. So we're going to move through shoulder stretching now. I have a couple of straps here just to show you that this is what a yoga strap looks like. But I'm going to use my fancy dancy tie because you might not have a strap and you might need to find something at home that works for you. Maybe somebody doesn't have a tie in your household. You could use a belt. You can use a rope. I'm sure you have a few other ideas of your own. So we're going to stretch the arms in a simple stretch for the pecs and the shoulders. I want you to place your hands about 3 feet apart on whatever you've got, and then raise the arms straight up. Okay, so you want the shoulders to drop away from the ears, so you're not tensing them. You want to lift up through the knuckles, firm up the elbows, and now just take the time to work the hands back and use the shoulder blades to lift your heart a little bit higher. Press up through the knuckles, lengthening, press the hands back, use the shoulder blades to lift the heart. And so one very important principle in yoga to understand is the principle of effortlessness. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are not applying effort. Of course, you have to have some effort to be doing what you're doing. But what you want to focus on is balancing effort and release. And the most obvious thing that comes up when you're applying too much effort is that you stiffen. And that is counterproductive when you're doing, when you're doing anything really, but especially when you're stretching. So let's try to find that. I want you to treat your arms like they're full of energy. You don't want to tense it up, otherwise the energy won't flow through. So let's lengthen and energize the arms in a way that makes them feel long, but not stiff. And then press the hands back again. And then do that again. Let's try to use the breath this time. Inhale, find length, energize the arms. And then exhale, press the hands a little further back. One more time. Inhale, find length. Exhale, press the hands a little further back. Okay, let the hands come forward. The shoulders might be a little bit tired there. Give the shoulders one big circle. And now come forward onto the hands. Lift your feet, and just to give your feet a break, let's circle those ankles a few times. Okay, point the toes, sit back, and once again, align calves, heels, and toes. So heels in, toes out. Grab your strap again. Place the hands the same distance apart, and we'll start with that same first stretch. Lift the arms up. Once again, balancing effort and release right away. So that concept of mindfulness is so important. You want to be feeling your body all the time when you're doing yoga, noticing how the body's responding, noticing how you're responding. Do you find it hard? And when you do you tense harder? Do you work harder? Yoga's not really like that. We are always trying to balance effort and release, making it feel as effortless as possible, even when we're working really hard. Okay, second stage here. Now you're going to take your right hand and move it back as the left arm comes right up beside the ear. So go ahead and drop that arm back. You might need to slide the hands apart as you do that until your right hand is right behind your pelvis and you're able to fully straighten out both arms. So again, slide the hands apart. Depending on what you have, it might be hard to slide the hands on that material, but do what you can. Now lengthen up through the knuckles of the top hand. Remember, soften, effortlessness, keeping the energy in the arms without the stiffness. And then reach down through the bottom hand so it feels like it's pulling the top arm back. Try to keep the ribs upright so you're not letting them collapse forward. Alignment is really important no matter what you're doing. Keeping that spine upright, head on top of the spine. Okay, now right arm comes up, left arm goes back. You might need to adjust the hands on the strap. Lengthen up through the knuckles of the right hand, pull the strap down with the left. Again, keeping the ribs upright so you're not tilting or turning. And hold the stretch for 2 breaths. Make sure you keep that breath smooth and deep. And so the breath is your link to the nervous system. I'm not sure if you understand what that means, but if your breath is quick, if you're holding your breath, then likely your nervous system is becoming overactive, overreactive in some ways too. You want to be able to keep the breath slow and deep. Okay, so bring that left arm up. Place the strap down, give your shoulders a couple of circles. And now come forward onto the hands. Lift your feet, and just to give your feet a break, let's circle those ankles a few times. Okay, point the toes, sit back. And once again, align calves, heels, and toes. So heels in, toes out. Grab your strap again. So this time I want you to take the ends, so the loose ends of the tie or rope or strap, whatever you have, and take it in your right hand. Reach your left arm forward, palm is facing to the left. Sweep it back until the back of the hand can rest on your mid back or your lower back, or wherever it goes. And then see if you can move that hand up like you want to touch your neck with your fingertips. Now you have the strap in your right hand, reach up. Now bend the elbow down as much as it can go first. So you can even reach the fingers down the back like you want to grab the bottom hand, and then pass the strap down to the bottom hand. And then move the hands closer. But before you move them too close, I want you to lift your left shoulder and press it back so you're not letting it collapse forward. So lift it up, press it back, and then lift the top elbow. Now you'll feel a stretch most likely. If you want a deeper stretch, you move the hands closer together and do that again. Left shoulder lifts and presses back, and the top elbow lifts. Remembering the breath. And the nervous system is such an important part of doing yoga, of living your life really. Because the nervous system is what is responsible for the condition that your muscles are in. So they transmit the message from your brain to your body. And so if you can keep that line open, you can control what message the muscles are receiving. So right now, I want you to, even though you're pressing the shoulder back, that right shoulder, I want you to release where you're feeling the stretch. Can you do that? And so the nervous system is what will tense and what will let go. And so you want to have a calm state of mind, a focused awareness, and the intention to let go where your body really needs it in every pose. Okay, so let's release that. So you can keep the strap in your left hand now. Release the hands and give your shoulders a big circle. And now come forward onto the hands. Lift your feet, and just to give your feet a break, let's circle those ankles a few times. Okay, point the toes, sit back. And once again, align calves, heels, and toes. So heels in, toes out. Grab your strap again. And now your right arm goes forward, palm facing to the right, and you'll do the same thing. Sweep it back, slide the hand up, move it up towards your neck. Raise the left arm up. Bend it down as far as you can. Place the hand on the upper back if you can. Then pass the strap down to the bottom hand. You might notice one side is tighter, maybe even much tighter or looser than the other. And then before you move the hands closer together, lift your right shoulder, press it back. Then move the hands closer together, and then lift your top elbow. And always coming back to those principles: effortlessness, energy rather than stiffness, mindfulness. Can you release where you feel the muscle without taking away from the integrity of the pose? Breathing is deep and slow. Okay, let's release that stretch. Hopefully your feet don't hurt too much at this point. Give the shoulders a big circle. Come forward onto your hands. Lift your feet, give your ankles a few circles. And we're going to come right down into our resting pose. So you can take that bolster or take blocks off of it first if you need to. Slide that bolster forward. Turn it crosswise so that it can rest under your legs. And then go ahead and lie on your back, and you can slip that bolster wherever it feels best. You can slip something under your head for comfort if you need to. This is Shavasana. So go ahead and let your arms rest down at your sides with the palms facing up. Reach your heels away from you and then let the feet drop out to the sides. Rest your head comfortably. And we'll stay here for about 2 minutes, allowing the body to relax. So you might be able to understand effortlessness better when you absolutely do not need effort. You don't need to be doing anything. So let's see what it feels like to turn everything off. Turn off nervous tension in your body. Turn off your need to be doing anything else right now. Turn off your need for control. And so relaxation being such an important part of yoga, you might begin to realize that relaxation cannot be created. In fact, it's the opposite approach. You let go of everything that is preventing you or getting in the way of relaxing. So turn off urges, craving, and just let yourself rest. Okay, so you can gradually make your way towards a seating position by waking up your fingers and your toes, and maybe rocking your head from side to side. And then bring your knees up to your chest and give them a hug. And then roll to your side and press up to sitting. If you need to, take a moment to make yourself comfortable, whatever that means for you. And then finishing with our expression of gratitude, palms together. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.